Alright, hey and welcome to example 2. In this one we're going to do a very similar thing. We're going to do a couple of things different here. We're going to bring in the geometry as not an RBD object. We're going to bring it as an RBD packed object. And then we're also going to add some initial attributes to the packed point to bring them in to the .NET and see how they work. So to do this, we're just going to create the same thing as before. A box, put it to polygon mesh, axis division to 4, 4, 4. We're going to bring it up with an X form. Kind of similar to before as the first example. Yes, like a little bit rotation, a little bit translation. Then to bring in as a packed object, we need to pack it. So now we have 56 points, 54 primitives, 216 vertices, and 54 polygons. We're gonna drop down a pack sub and pack it. And now we have 1 point, 1 primitive, 1 vertex, and 1 packed geometry. The packed geometry is important here because that's what we're gonna actually bring in. So next up, we want to create some attributes on this point that can also be brought into the .NET. Excuse me. So to do that, we're gonna do just add attributes to the point. It's very simple. I've done it here already, but I'm gonna do it live. So we're gonna bring in a W, which is the angular velocity, and we're gonna bring in a V, which is the velocity. To create these on this point, we're gonna do an attribute create. I'm just going to branch off here just to show you guys how I did this. We're going to call the first one V. We're going to put the type to vector since velocity is a vector. We're going to put the vector to +4 in y direction. And that's all. Just make sure it's a point. And we can now see that we have a velocity in our point. Next up, we want to put a plus sign here. Create another attribute called W. The W is also it's a velocity, it's a vector, it's a angular velocity, so we're gonna put it vector. This value can be very random. I'm just gonna put it to -6, 3, and 6, maybe -4. I'm gonna put the exact same values as I have here actually. 4, 3, 6, 4, 3, 6. Okay, cool. So we have an angular velocity and we have a velocity. We can see it here, and we can also check our geometry spreadsheet. And we can hide all the attributes, and we can show only V and W. And we can see we have the 0, 4, 0 in the V, and in W we have -4, 3, and 6. So it's great. We now have those attributes on our point, on our packed point. I'm gonna delete this because we have it here. But it's great, cool. We're gonna add a null afterwards just to find our geometry in the .NET, and that's all for the here in the sub level. Now we're gonna dive into the DOP. In the DOP, we're not gonna use the RBD object as we did before, like this one. It's called RBD object. We're instead gonna use the RBD packed object. So this works really similar. Simpler differences that this brings in packed objects, this brings in non-packed objects basically. So in the non-packed in the already packed object here, we're gonna find our subpath, and it's basically gonna show us geometry we bring in. We can middle mouse on it, and we can see it's only 1 point and 1 prim. Great. Next up, in initial state, to bring in the velocities, the angular and the velocity, we need to check this, because otherwise it will look at these two, which is the overrides for these velocity and angular velocity. To bring in attributes from sub level, we need to check this box called inherit velocity from point velocity. And we can see here, if you hover, when you bring in a moving piece of geometry from an external source, you don't always know the piece's velocity and angular velocity. Therefore, you can bring it in. Then we're gonna hook this to a RBD, to a bullet solver. Put that to a merge with a ground plane, as we did before, and put some gravity on that. And let's see if we visualize the gravity here. Let's see what happens. So basically this box should now be going upwards, and it should spin. And it should be quite a lot faster than before. This is a packed object. Let's play. And indeed, it does spin, and it does go up. So that's how you bring in packed objects with some attributes on them. Cool. That's all for this example. See you guys in the next one. Thank you.